Some of our learners exhibit different behaviors in different environments. For example, maybe when you work with a learner in the community, it's very challenging, yet working with them in their home is a breeze. Or maybe the behavior that they show at school is very different from how they act at home. So, how do we approach supporting our learners in multiple environments? Hi, I'm Shayna, and together with my partner Shira, we are How to ABA. We are behavior analysts who create weekly content about how to teach children with autism so that they make real progress, and we create shareable resources to make your job just a little easier. Today's topic is all about helping learners across environments. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new video releases. So I was always told, change the environment, change the behavior. I mean, that's Psych 101, right? But it really didn't hit home until I had a daughter. And, I'm watching my daughter around her friends, I'm hearing comments from other parents. And I have to say, she is completely different around her friends than her family. I get comments from other parents saying that when my daughter is at someone else's house, the parents tell me that she says please and thank you, and she cleans up after herself. I mean, woof. Thank goodness she's displaying that at someone else's house. But at home, she's got to be prompted to do the whole process. And I just go, come on. But I guess you change the environment, you change the behavior. So often with our learners, we talk about programming in various environments and programming in the quote unquote community. What do we mean by the community? When we just say program in the community, we're referring to environments like schools, parks, stores, restaurants, and other public settings. I mean, the community could even be, someone's backyard or the neighbor's house if they're living in a rural community. These places all have specific rules, they have structure, they have social expectations. At home, however, the environment is a lot more relaxed. It's familiar to the learner and it's personal. So these different contexts can significantly influence a child's behavior. So in the community, sometimes, the community is more structured, so there's more engagement, there's more to do. We have to set clear expectations and consequences for both positive and negative behavior. You think of teachers, you think of coaches who set and reinforce rules and boundaries, right? So the teachers are saying, this is how to behave in a school context or in my classroom. It's a very structured set of rules and expectations. So sometimes in the community, you've got that engagement, you've got that, okay, it's structure. I'm going from here to here to here. There's predictable routines. Kids aren't allowed to have tablets necessarily, right? So because they don't have tablets, they're forced to interact with their environment more. Also in the community, there's a lot of peer influences, and that can be really great or not for specific individuals. And then on the flip side, sometimes the community is really, really tough because it's actually less structured than at home. At home, you've got sometimes parents who are really awesome and have set up all of these schedules, and kids are busy. And then, they go out into the community and there's not a lot of structure. Or, they're going into a school setting, and because they're not one-to-one, they're doing a lot of waiting. And that can be really tough for them. So, we have to think about all this stuff. If you think about outside, you think about summer camp, for instance, right? There's no walls. And, when you're outside, no walls, it's interesting. You just take away walls and it can be very overwhelming for some of our learners. Sometimes, you go into a grocery store that has fluorescent lights, or you've got kids who are playing with something at the dollar store. There's just different noises, different lights, it's different stimuli, and it can be sensory overload. So we have to really take this into account for some of our learners. Peers, I said peer influences can be great, but peers can also be very unpredictable, right? Even just the sounds of their voices can be unpredictable for some kids. There's more waiting in the community, so that might mean less engagement. Novel people may not understand our students' attempts to communicate. So all of these things have to be taken into account when you're in the community. In the home environment, we always say, oh, well, the home environment is less structured, but not always, right? The home environment can come with different expectations for sure. There's definitely feelings of safety and security at home. But actually not always. Like if you get some kids who parents are always working, or parents have a zillion kiddos, and they've got siblings, so there's no time for them, or parents are off, there's maybe some type of trauma in the home, or there's something, maybe they don't have that safety and security at home, but they have it at school. So things to take into consideration: definitely different relationships with parents than with teachers and peers. There's more individualized attention at home sometimes, but not always. Remember the siblings, that working parent thing. Maybe there's neglect happening at home. So again, thinking about that, maybe there's more individual attention at school. Home can be less structured, but sometimes it can be more structured, right? If parents have set up schedules and everything else to try and foster that engagement. So I guess the question is, how can we help our learners demonstrate similar positive behaviors in all environments, right? Here's a few things. Number one, you want to keep expectations consistent across environments if you can. If kids have a schedule to follow at home and they're very successful with that, set up the schedule at school, or vice versa. The schedule can be pictures if they thrive off pictures, or it can be text. It can be something really, really low tech. It might just be that, parents scribble something on a piece of paper and have the kids cross it off. That's all it could be. When you're going into new environments, another thing to keep things successful is something called priming. I love this. Priming, pre-teaching, reviewing expectations ahead of time, whatever you want to call it. But, if you're going to a new environment, for instance, it might be helpful to look up that place online. Most places have websites now, so you can look at, the pictures online, see what it's all about. You can role play if there's specific situations that come up, like, hey, I know we're going to be doing a lot of waiting or waiting in line. Let's act it out here. So, if I did this in line, what would other people think? Or if I did this in line, is this, appropriate? If I stepped on someone's foot, if I'm too close to a person, that kind of thing. You can also show pictures of various situations as well in terms of personal space, or just, what the new environment looks like. When you're in the environment, model those expected behaviors. Model, this is how, I stand appropriately. This is how, I'm waiting quietly. If your learner does, or your child does get upset in the environment, or, has a meltdown, or just having a tough time, remember, they're having a tough time. They're not trying to give you a tough time. And the other thing that Shira always says is be the thermostat, not the thermometer. So I know it's so hard, especially as a parent. What you want to do is you want to just, yell and say, hey, what are you doing? Come on, knock that off, stop that. But if we do that, we're raising the temperature in the room and probably escalating, our student or our child as well. If we can just stay calm and be that thermostat and try and regulate the emotions in the room, that's the best thing to do. Easier said than done, right? Also, implementing schedules is a great idea. That structure, try and keep it as structured as possible. Maybe using some timers to say, hey, this is when the end is. I use a lot of visuals when I'm in the environment, and I might even just draw out 5 boxes on a piece of paper and say, hey, great, we went to this first thing, check mark. Hey, we went to the second thing, check mark. Look, we've only got 3 more things to do, and then it's all done. Or it could be, hey, first we're going here, and I've got pictures on my phone. Oh, we have to stop at the gas station. Here's a picture on my phone of the gas station. And then we have to go here and show them visuals so that they're really understanding the language behind, or that language, I guess you can say. Also, setting up an end time. So if individuals are having a tough time in the community, it can be really tough for them. But if they know they only have to be there for 5 minutes, or, oh, hey, we're running in for 20 minutes, really setting an end time so that they know how long they're expected to be in the community. Likewise, if it's something that they're doing that's really preferred, giving them that end time helps them regulate and helps them know, oh, I've only got 5 more minutes left. Oh, there's only a few more minutes left, and then I have to transition to something else. And then praise and positive reinforcement, differential reinforcement, right? Reinforcing for, behavior that we want to see, and, doing a lot more of, hey, that was really great. I know it was really hard to keep it together in there, but you've got, this is amazing. And wow, I really love the way you're doing this. Sometimes, when my daughter was young, even just with my own child, I squeezed her hand when she was doing a really great job because she liked that pressure. And she knew that hand squeeze was like, hey, great job. So things like that you can think of as well. So if you're struggling to help learners in a classroom environment, we have another video on that. Check that out, just using ABA in a preschool classroom. And that's hopefully those are some suggestions that will work for you. So in summary today, we talked about how you can help your learners across different environments, some factors to consider, and some steps to do so. Click on the link in and around this video to get your free communication log, and that may help you communicate with the adults in the environment, parents versus teachers versus ABA therapists, and then everybody can be on the same page and really promote that consistency. We also encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos, and leave a like and comment below if you have further questions.